Welcome to our U.S. Briefing Show. Today, we're diving into some hot topics making headlines. First up, the Palestinian president, Mahmoud Abbas, is calling on the U.S. to reinstate his visa after it was revoked along with 80 other officials just before the UN General Assembly. This move has caused quite a stir, with Palestinians and international allies criticizing it as a breach of UN neutrality, especially with tensions rising in Gaza and the West Bank. Next, we turn to a familiar debate in America: gun control versus prayer. After a tragic shooting at a Minneapolis Catholic school, the country is split. Democrats argue prayers are not enough without legislative action, while Republicans and religious leaders emphasize the importance of spiritual support. This ongoing clash highlights America's deep divide over how to handle gun violence, with faith, policy, and personal rights all in the mix. Finally, in Germany, Chancellor Friedrich Merz is pushing forward with an ambitious autumn of reform, targeting economic and social policies amid economic challenges. His plans for welfare cuts, tax reforms, and pension changes are causing tension within his coalition, making it clear that meaningful change will require some serious compromise. That's all for today's quick overview. Please continue to watch for more details. According to the Associated Press, the Palestinian president's office has strongly urged the U.S. government to restore President Mahmoud Abbas's revoked visa, a decision made just weeks before his scheduled appearance at the UN General Assembly and an international conference aimed at reviving the Middle East peace process. The U.S. State Department, citing national security interests, revoked Abbas's visa along with those of 80 other officials, a move condemned by the Palestinians and the UN, which called for clarification and emphasized the importance of the UN headquarters as a neutral space for peace. The Palestinian authorities fear this decision will escalate tensions, especially amid ongoing violence in Gaza and the West Bank, and have appealed to other nations and international bodies to pressure the U.S. to reconsider, highlighting the broader implications for diplomatic efforts and regional stability. French Foreign Minister Jean-Noël Barrot also voiced concerns about restrictions at the UN, emphasizing the sanctuary's role in conflict resolution, while Abbas's office linked the visa revocation to ongoing Israeli military actions and the broader conflict, asserting it undermines commitments to peace and stability. The Associated Press also reports on the heated debate in the United States following a tragic mass shooting at Annunciation Catholic School in Minneapolis, where 2 children were killed and many others wounded, reigniting the perennial controversy over the efficacy of prayers versus legislative action on gun control. Public figures from across the political spectrum clashed over the role of prayer, with some emphasizing that thoughts and prayers are inadequate without concrete policy changes, such as stricter gun laws, while others defended prayer as a vital spiritual response. The discourse revealed deep divisions rooted in America's cultural and religious landscape, with Republicans defending the constitutional right to bear arms and criticizing calls to dismiss prayer, and Democrats and victims' families criticizing the inaction on gun reform. Religious leaders, including Catholic bishops and Jewish community figures, called for both prayer and tangible measures to curb gun violence, highlighting the ongoing struggle to reconcile faith, policy, and public safety amid America's persistent gun violence crisis. Deutsche Welle reports on Friedrich Merz's ambitious autumn of reform in Germany, a season marked by his push to overhaul the welfare state and implement tax reforms amid economic stagnation and demographic challenges. Merz's plans face resistance from coalition partners, particularly the SPD, which opposes tax hikes on the wealthy and favors welfare and benefit cuts, creating a complex balancing act. Merz's confrontational style, exemplified by his recent speech warning about the SPD's stance on immigration and industry, resonates with his conservative CDU base but complicates coalition negotiations, especially since his dependency on the SPD for parliamentary majority leaves little room for maneuver. Public opinion polls reflect waning popularity for Merz, with dissatisfaction rising over unfulfilled promises like electricity tax cuts, and both CDU and SPD are perceived as weak, stuck in a coalition of the weak, making compromise the only feasible path forward despite widespread discontent. South China Morning Post highlights the paradox of Chinese tourists flocking to the U.S. despite growing concerns over safety, visa difficulties, and geopolitical tensions. In 2025, Chinese arrivals to the U.S. have increased slightly, driven by iconic landmarks like Yellowstone, the Statue of Liberty, and Hollywood, which remain powerful draws. However, travelers face hurdles such as rising prices, snacks costing $45 and meals around $110, and stricter visa policies, with wait times averaging nearly a year and rejection rates soaring. Many tourists, like Gao Huaxing, continue to visit, valuing the U.S.'s unique natural and cultural attractions over safety worries and diplomatic frictions, including the China-U.S. trade disputes. Yet, industry insiders warned that ongoing visa restrictions and economic tensions could stifle growth, with projections suggesting stagnation or slight decline in Chinese tourism over the next half year. Associated Press offers a contemplative look at the Smithsonian's National Museum of American History, contrasting its comprehensive portrayal of America's complex past with Donald Trump's desire for a simplified patriotic narrative. While the museum showcases both the nation's achievements and darker chapters, such as slavery, Native American oppression, and racial injustice, Trump criticizes it for emphasizing America's failures, advocating for a version of history that celebrates pride and success without acknowledging its contradictions. The museum's exhibits, from Lincoln's assassination to Native Hawaiian resistance symbols, provoke questions about national identity, patriotism, and the nation's ongoing struggles. It also underscores the fragility of American democracy, with artifacts like the USS Philadelphia and references to Trump's impeachments prompting reflection on the enduring challenges of leadership, unity, and historical memory in a deeply divided country. CNN reports that as Labor Day approaches, many beaches along the U.S. coastline are under advisories due to dangerous levels of fecal contamination, posing health risks such as gastrointestinal illnesses and rashes. From Florida to Maine, popular spots like Hyannis, Long Island, and even pristine Hawaiian beaches are affected, with nearly two-thirds of tested beaches nationwide experiencing unsafe bacteria levels in 2024. The widespread issue is largely attributed to aging water and sewer infrastructure, exacerbated by severe weather and suburban development that overwhelms natural ecosystems' ability to absorb stormwater. Despite warnings, many beachgoers remain confident, believing natural currents and personal judgment will protect them, but health officials warn that contaminated waters can cause illness in a significant portion of swimmers. The report highlights the urgent need for infrastructure investment and environmental management to safeguard these treasured resources, which are vital for families and communities across the country. In CNN's coverage of Trump's recent actions, the focus is on his aggressive pursuit of political retribution since announcing his bid for re-election. Trump has used executive orders, investigations, and security measures to target critics, former officials, and political opponents, including revoking security clearances for over 100 individuals, such as Biden administration officials and high-profile critics like James Comey and John Brennan. His efforts extend to firing federal employees, reshaping agencies like FEMA and the FBI, and investigating figures involved in the Russia interference probe and the January 6 Capitol riot. Many of these moves have faced legal challenges, with some courts ruling against Trump's actions, such as the unlawful firing of federal officials. Trump's relentless campaign of retaliation is portrayed as a broader strategy to consolidate power and punish perceived enemies, with critics condemning it as politically motivated weaponization of government institutions, while supporters claim it's an effort to restore integrity and accountability in government. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6Do Brief via email.
Waking up to wonders, checking nature blunders. Got our rockets flying while the oceans are sighing. Lasers in the sky now, holograms we say wow. Quantum